In the 16 years I've been raising sheep, I've never once used a lambing pen for any of my sheep. And while you will produce more sheep and have better luck with your lambs if you do pin them up with a mother, there's another good reason not to ever use a lambing pen. The other day I went out and I found a baby lamb that had been forgotten by its mother. Apparently it was a young mother and the baby lamb was about half dead. And when I first started raising sheep, this would happen fairly often, and I would find a baby lamb with no mother. And so I didn't have a barn or any place to put the lamb for the mother, and so after a while the lamb would just die. And while this is pretty common when I first started raising sheep, now it rarely happens at all because all the genetics for a mother that will not take care of her lamb, they've dropped out of my herd. And so by not assisting my sheep and not helping them to lamb, I've actually got a more hardy and resistant type of sheep now than I ever did before. Starting in about 2010, I began raising chickens, all different kinds of chickens, pasture-fed chickens, in these geodesic domes that I made. And I created a company called Zip Tie Domes. And most of the chickens I raised would not even sit on their own eggs, except for these white breast chickens that I got from France. And they were very broody. They would sit on their own eggs and hatch their own eggs because that instinct had not been bred out of them. Most of these chicken breeds won't even sit on their own eggs, so they're not even broody because they've been industrialized and they rely upon an egg incubator to hatch the next generation of chickens. The reason is man is not allowing nature to cull any animal that doesn't have this instinct to try and hatch its own young. The same is true with sheep. When you pin up your sheep, your ewes with your lambs, then they're all going to bond with their babies, even the sheep that have lost this basic instinct. So sheep are becoming industrialized, just like chickens have already become industrialized. And that's one of the main reasons why I raise St. Croix sheep, because this breed has not been industrialized. You can turn them loose on pasture, and they will drop their baby on the pasture and usually bond with them. The ones that don't, I've culled them out of my flock. Likewise, I've culled all the sheep that rely upon dewormers to live out of my flock as well. I just cull them. If they've got any problems with worms or coccidiosis or whatever, or hoof rot, they're gone. And if you're a homesteader, you don't need to have these industrialized sheep or industrialized animals. You want something that's totally self-sufficient, just like you are. You don't need to be raising chemically dependent sheep for your operation. So I have a totally different outlook about sheep, and I let nature cull the sick, and I keep just the ones that are able to produce in an entirely natural environment. There's another advantage I have in that I can ramp up production without having to worry about purchasing more infrastructure. If I want to double my herd size, I don't have to worry about going out and buying more lambing pens or a bigger barn. I don't need anything. And since I don't use chemicals, I can become certified organic whenever I feel like it. St. Croix sheep have just a lot of advantages. They're 100% parasite resistant. They still have good mothering instincts. They lamb easy without assistance. And they're perfect for the homesteader. Well, thanks for watching the video.